Okay, got a Honda Odyssey right here. Customer complaint is after 3 days, the battery will not crank up. The car will not crank up. So they just replaced the battery. It's a brand new battery. Okay, 3 days later, come out to crank up the car, got to jump it. Alternator is good. He can jump it and the car will drive. The alternator is testing good, but he still, every time he cuts off the car, he goes to crank it up, and he got a good alternator, good battery, but the car has to be jumped every single time. So in that situation, usually you got a corrosion or bad battery terminals. So what you want to do is just make sure that you don't have any corrosion right here or loose terminals. Cut these wires back, and then you want to trace them, right, and find the ground. Same thing over here. You got another one, you want to trace it, and if you look down there, you see all that blue stuff? You see all that blue? That's all corrosion. That's your negative ground cable. So let's go down here underneath the car and so your ground, one's gonna go to the block. Right there it is, right there. So we need to take off that bolt where it's bolted up to the block. I already have it disconnected at the top, and we're gonna take that wire off and clean all that corrosion off. Ideally, you would want to replace that battery cable. You can just run a new cable from right here up to there, but you can also just clean it off as long as you get. But we need to cut that. We're gonna cut that wire back and make sure that there's no corrosion underneath. And so basically what I'm gonna do when I cut it off, this is what I do to clean them up. I just get a drill and I get like a little wire like this and put on the drill bit and just spin it and just knock all the corrosion off, or you can use one like that. These will tear it up a little bit if you're not careful. Just make sure that you're going in the same direction. So let's say if it's going from the battery to the block this way, you want your wire to spin this way and go this way and not backwards, and it won't tear it up too bad. But you know, it's not gonna tear it up too bad. But what you want to do is, once you knock all that corrosion off, then you're going to get some either baking soda and water. Coca-Cola works also, or you can get battery terminal cleaner. I actually have a product that's made just to clean battery terminals. It's basically, you know, like hydrogen peroxide, baking soda, you know, mix. So, but they sell stuff at the store made to clean it. So after I knock off the big chunks with the drill and the wire brush, or you could do it by hand. You can get a, you know, like a wire brush, a big one. I got real big wire brushes. Let me see, I got one. Like, there it is right there. You can use that, something like that, and just do it by hand. If you don't want to tear it up too much, just get a big wire brush, or you probably don't need one this big, but they got a big heavy duty ones like that. They got the ones with the wooden handle or whatever. So whatever, your weapon of choice, that's up to you. I like to do the drill. So like I said, I disconnected it up here so that now, you know, I can touch the wires in the system without, you know, making sparks and stuff like that. So I'm also going to clean up this ground right here. This one looks pretty clean. I'm going to clean it anyway because it's easy to access. So I'm going to take off this 10 millimeter. I'm going to get my little drill here, put this adapter, and I'm just going to clean it up until I see bare metal, and I'm going to knock all that rust off. and then I'm gonna clean up the one on the bottom, get all that blue corrosion off. So if you got a car, you got a good battery, good alternator, and you gotta jump the battery every single time, check your ground wires, because that's what the problem is. You got a bad ground. All right, so in order to get this ground wire up here, see, so this is what you're looking at right here. You want to clean off. I went ahead and did this one too. See how shiny that is? See how all that rust? You want to knock all that off. All right, see how all that blue stuff is? You want it to look like that. And then afterwards, we're going to treat it with some, and then we're going to cut this line right here with a razor blade, peel that back in order to get this out. You know, there's this right here. You just stick a screwdriver in here, lift that up. There's a 10 millimeter right there connecting it onto the battery tray. Remove that 10 millimeter, and then you can pull this up, and if you want to, you can just pop that little bracket right there and then pull this out, and then you'll be able to get your ground. That's how you get your ground wire out. If you want to replace this ground wire, you just take that bracket out, and now here's your whole ground wire. From here, this goes on the battery. You got one that goes here, and this is the one that goes down to the engine. If you follow that line right there, it just goes right here, and that's where it goes to the block. So that's how you replace the entire ground cable. If you wanted to, you know, you just disconnect the little hooks and stuff like that, and it's pretty easy to replace it. But I'm just going to clean it up, save this guy a little bit of money. But like I said, we're going to cut this wire off. You know, cut this wire with a razor blade, peel it back a little bit.